Hi friends, it's Miss Marchetti. I'm outside today around my house and I'm looking at some different things. So I'm looking at some trees. Do you see some trees? I see some trees. And so we're gonna do a little activity to start our day talking about what kinds of things come from trees. So I want you to look on these trees and see what you see. What do you see on the trees? I'm going to show you some more. What do you see on these trees? This is more of a bush, but it still has some of the similar things that a tree might have. Here's another tree. What do you notice about the tree? What's on the tree? So we're gonna go back inside now and look at some things that I found on trees, and we're gonna write about it. See you in a minute. Hi friends, so we're back inside, and today we're gonna be thinking about, for our question of the day, what things come from trees? Again, it says, what things come from trees. And I drew a little tree here. What kinds of things come from trees? So I actually have a few things that I collected here, and we're going to look at each of them. So what do you notice about all of these different things that I collected? What do you notice about them? And let me see. I have one more I might add, just to see if you can see what kinds of things come from trees. Does this come from a tree? Does this come from a tree? How about this? How about this one? This one? This? Does that come from a tree? What about this one? Does this come from a tree? So let's think about what these different kinds of things are. Could you make a guess? Wow, great guesses. So this one, what did you say this one was? A leaf. Yeah, it's a leaf. Do leaves come from trees? Do you see another leaf? I see another leaf right here. Wow, that one feels a little bit different. And this one feels a little more rough and smooth, and it's bigger too. So those come from trees. Leaves come from trees. So we can add that to our question of the day. Leaves. I wonder what leaves starts with. Oh, leaves. L for leaves. Leaves. Leaves come from trees. What else on our mat over here comes from trees? Oh, I was going to add this one too because that's also a leaf. Leaves come from trees. Does this come from a tree? No, it doesn't come from a tree. It's just like a little plastic toy. That doesn't come from a tree. So we're going to leave that over here. What about this one? What do you think this is? That's right, it's a rock. Do rocks come from trees? No. How about this one? Ooh, what's this? That's beautiful. Looks like a flower to me. But what they call it on trees before the leaves come out is a blossom. Do blossoms come from trees? They do. So let's add that to our question of the day. Blossom. Can you say blossom? What letter does blossom start with? That's right, it starts with a B. B for blossom. Here's our blossom. Blossoms, I'm going to add an S because we could have multiple blossoms things. Blossoms is something that comes from a tree. Let's look over here again. So we said that that doesn't come from a tree and this doesn't come from a tree. What about this guy? Does this come from a tree? What does that look like to you? Sort of, to me, looks like a nut. And I bet you some of you have seen some of these outside of the school, and even if you're in Miss Marchetti's class, in my classroom. It's an acorn. Can you say acorn? Very good. Do acorns come from trees? They do. Acorns come from trees. So we're going to write acorn. Acorn. Acorns come from trees. Trees make different kinds of nuts. All right, let's look one more thing, or two more things. What else comes from a tree? Does this come from a tree? This is a tricky one because it actually does kind of look like wood. Maybe we'll talk about this one later, but for right now, it's kind of hard like a rock. So we'll say no, that one doesn't come from a tree. But this one, does this come from a tree? What is it? That's right, it's a branch or a stick. So I'm going to say branches also come from trees. So we're going to write branch. Branch. Or actually, we'll write stick. Stick. Can you say stick? Stick. What letter does stick start with? That's right. It starts with an S. Stick. So these are the things that come from trees. We have leaves, blossoms, acorns, and sticks. I wonder if you could make your own list of something that comes from a tree. So you could find something outside or think of it in your mind and draw your own list. So maybe you'll draw another kind of leaf, like this or something. You could draw another kind of leaf, and you could write leaf. Can you think of anything else that might come from a tree? I'll give you a hint. It's brown, and it falls off the trees a lot. And if you're in Miss Marchetti's class, you might have some in your classroom. What does that look like to you? It starts with a P. Let's see if you can figure that out. Try to think of things that come from leaves and write them on your paper and send a picture to your teacher of all the things that you can think of that come from trees. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. Hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.